with a great program.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Indiana wins the Peach Bowl and is headed to the national championship game, scoring a 56-22 win over Oregon in Atlanta. 812-393-2600 is the number. We cannot wait to hear from you. I cannot wait to hear from you. This is... it's been a dream season already, and it will continue to be because there's one more thing to go, one more game to win. And this was just a straight up dog walk ass kicking in the Peach Bowl. 812-393-2600 is the number. I'm expecting there being a little bit late arriving crowd for this here show. Because of the fact that people are going to be watching the post-game show. I learned that in the Rose Bowl. Learn all kinds of interesting stuff. But this is an absolutely dream season for Indiana continuing, and it's an amazing game. Okay, consider this. In the Rose Bowl, Fernando Mendoza went 14 of 16 and threw 3 touchdown passes, and it was incredible that he had more touchdown passes than incompletions. Then he plays in the Peach Bowl, the college football playoff semifinal. He goes 17 of 20 for 177 yards and 5 touchdowns, which means he had, again, more touchdown passes than he did incompletions. He's thrown 5 incompletions in the last 2 games and 8 touchdowns on his resume. And it is just absolutely extraordinary, the level of football that is being played. And all of that despite the fact Indiana didn't have a particularly good day defensively for them. This is only the second time this season that Indiana has given up more than or 3 touchdowns in a game. The other one was Penn State. Only the third time this year Indiana has given up 2 offensive touchdowns in a game. And Indiana rolls anyway. There was nothing concerning about this game at all from the very first play, which was a pick 6. 812-393-2600. Give us a call. Join our chat. You're on the chat. Give me your questions. We will continue to work with you to just keep the chat rolling. Just absolutely incredible in a way that look, it's just almost impossible to think about what the Hoosiers have accomplished this year. I know that Curt Cignetti doesn't want to talk about anything that that has happened yet because he knows there's work left to be done. But it is just absolutely incredible. This is a program that so desperately was just focused for so long about just winning 6 games in a season, just getting to a bowl, and how big an accomplishment that was seen. And Curt Cignetti has absolutely blown every expectation that you ever could have out of the water, and it's incredible. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open. We want to hear from you. Just an exciting game. We'll break things down on the chat. Charlie Bykoff, that's Charlie the intern, who would really like to be on camera with me right now, but he's not going to be, says, that Crazy was asked what he's thinking about, and said, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about cracking open a beer. It's kind of something that he has been saying after every game, that very thing. And God bless him. God bless him, because this is extraordinary. I keep using that. We gotta find new words for what this is. I mean, just a straight out B-to-A ripping in this one. And again, we have a late arriving crowd. I know that will be something that's coming up. And we want to hear from you. Red Panda says, congratulations from a Michigan State fan. We appreciate that because, this is, we're one game away from having a very real discussion. There's a lot of work left to be done. A lot of work left to be done. But we're one game away. Indiana is one victory away, one performance away from being talked about as potentially one of the best teams in college football history. You're rolling through the college football playoffs. 38-3 last week, 56-22 this week. You have beat the ever-loving hell out of every opponent that you have faced during the season. I mean, where do you go? Tell me where it would be wrong to talk about that discussion. And again, that's despite the fact Indiana's defense didn't play great. Oregon outgained Indiana by 16 yards, 378-362. Oregon was 8 of 13 on third down and ran 6 more plays than the Hoosiers did. But it was Indiana's defense that forced turnovers, took advantage of mistakes from Oregon, who's considered one of the best defenses in the country, and just put 56 on them. It's really, really jaw-dropping. Absolutely jaw-dropping. And you know what? Honestly, there was a second half, which, I mean, it might seem weird to complain about officials in a 56-22 blowout victory. But boy, they were not calling some penalties there. Defensive pass interference easily should have been called. You had a holding call in the end zone on an Oregon pass that picked up a pile of yards. It's just unbelievable, because Indiana should have done even better. And after that no call, a couple of those penalties, you could see Curt Cignetti in being the psychopath that he is, and I mean that in the best possible way. I've mentioned that before. You could see that he wanted to make a point. Let's keep pouring it on. We'll keep our starters out there. You don't want to call a penalty on Oregon? That's fine. That's fine. We're going to put more points on them. We're going to keep it up. And I love that attitude. Absolutely love it. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open. Everybody's watching the post-game show. And I think I've explained this before, the reason why, even though I know that they are going to be watching this post game, watch the trophy presentation, all of that kind of stuff. Is when you're scheduling these things, you can't say, hey, if they win, we're going to go on a half hour late, but if they lose, we're going to go on immediately after. I want to go ahead and open it up right here. Right now, post-game celebration is continuing. Fernando Mendoza is running over to onto the stage to join the team. Heisman Trophy winner, 17 of 20, 177 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Outplays Dante Moore, who was 24 of 39 for 285 and 2 touchdowns. D'Angelo Pons is the Peach Bowl defensive MVP. He had the pick 6 on the first play of the game, and unbelievably, he also had a catch in the game. I don't know that he's played offense for a snap this year, but here in the college football semifinal, he was out there picking up a first down, 1 catch for 6 yards. And just amazing. Just amazing. And now they're going to be announcing the offensive MVP, and that is where Fernando Mendoza is going to get his attention here. Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, it's drink it in, kids. Just absolutely drink it in. In this, what was an IU football home game, they come out, and now I could see, God, I can't wait until I have a chance to actually watch this here in a little bit because he's obviously going on one of his unhinged rants, and I'm excited for that. So a lot of you, I'm sure, can hear it, but I can't. This thing was not over early, but over by halftime. And, a 35-7 lead at the break. Yeah, you're still like, okay, there's a lot of football left to be played. And by that same token, Indiana's defense doesn't give up 31 points. Their high that they've allowed this year is 24, and that was at Penn State. And now here it is, Oregon scores 22 points. Scores most of them late when the game was already out of hand, and gets the victory. Defensively, Aiden Fisher had 9 total tackles, including 5 solo stops, had 1.5 tackles for a loss. Indiana had 10 total tackles for a loss. 10. It's just 3 sacks. So what that gives it is Oregon gave up 17 sacks this year, as Kurt Cignetti raises the silver ball high in the air and is celebrating. There's one more trophy that he's in search of, but it is it just wow. 812-393-2600 is the number. Feel free to go ahead and ask questions on the chat if you would like. We're here for that too. Lines are open. And again, Oregon had given up gave up 3 sacks today, 17 on the year, and 9 of those 17, more than half, came from Indiana. The numbers are unbelievable. Indiana in the running game ran for 185 yards, threw for 177. That's that balance that makes them so difficult. Kalon Black, 12 carries, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. Should have had more yards. He got a long run called back on kind of a sketchy holding call, and especially considering what they were allowing Oregon's offensive line to get away with, especially on the at the right tackle. It was a real shaky holding call, but he finishes 12 carries, 63 yards. Roman Hemby, 17 carries, 53 yards, some tough yards along the way. Continued to do what he needed to do to grind out yards there. Kobe Martin, 4 carries for 42 yards. Fernando Mendoza had 6 carries for 28 yards, and some of those were scrambles that led to first downs. And boy, oh boy, That was a little bit of something that I know all IU fans were holding their breath when he would take off running. In the receiving game, Mendoza completes passes to 7 different receivers. Elijah Surratt, seven catches for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns, and just a couple of amazing back shoulder catches. Omar Cooper, 3 catches for 17 yards. One of them was a touchdown. Charlie Becker, 2 catches for 48 yards. He had a touchdown. Riley Nowakowski, 2 catches for 18 yards. E.J. Williams, 1 catch for 13 yards. That was a touchdown. D'Angelo Pons had his 1 catch, and the Roman Henby had 1 catch for 0. But they're just spreading the ball around, pick your poison, and they're all going to kill you. It's really extraordinary. We have our first caller of the night. Caller, if I have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
What's up, Ken? This is Joey from Huntington calling in.
Joey?
What a great night. I usually ask you how you're doing. I don't even need to ask you how you're doing tonight, right?
I thought about having a bourbon at halftime.
You SOB. You should have.
I didn't because I generally don't drink and before I go on the air. But that way,
if there's ever a night to make an exception, it might be tonight.
Well, I was saying that. So we had tonight, and it was going to be a nerve-wracking game, but then it turned out not to be. Then I have the IU Nebraska game to cover tomorrow because Rabbi and the boys are down in Atlanta and won't be back in time. And then I got Bears Packers, so a lot of stress coming tomorrow night because I'm a huge Bears fan. So the bourbon might have to wait for a little bit, but it's completely worthwhile.
So tonight I was at the Huntington North game because they recognized Sean Klein for being an Indiana Hall of Fame member. Sean, of course, played for IU basketball back in the early 2000s, and got home to watch most of the game, left at halftime after that. But text all my friends when Oregon fumbled the football, when really they just dropped it off the guy's helmet. I said this game was over. You cannot beat this Indiana team unless you execute perfectly. And Oregon beat themselves a couple times with the pick six and with that. And when that happened, I thought that play was a huge turning point, and I didn't think there was any way they could come back from that. Oregon didn't play their best, and Indiana just executed on both sides of the ball tonight. What an amazing football game.
It's really, really difficult to win, obviously, when the team that you're playing doesn't make mistakes. I mean, it's right. That simple. That stat that they were showing about Indiana hasn't lost a fumble since the 18th play of the season, and they've gone almost 1,000 plays without losing a fumble, is incredible. And part of that is certainly luck along the way, but still, that kind of discipline, that kind of everything is really, really just amazing to watch. And it's
not to interrupt, but sure. I think the Mendoza line of touchdowns compared to incomplete passes is absolutely insane too.
Sure.
Right along those same lines, right?
Sure, absolutely. Because now in 2 games he's had 5 incompletions that he's thrown, but he's thrown 8 touchdowns.
Right.
That's a level, and no picks. It's a level of efficiency that is just ridiculous.
Right. So, Ken, I wanted to bring up this topic. It's an interesting one that I had this conversation today. A lot has been made of this team and kind of how it's it could be a movie, right? Right. Curt Cignetti talked about that after the Rose Bowl. And to me, I would describe it a little bit more like a storybook. And I think there's a cast of characters that would be a part of the storybook.
Sure.
And I feel like the one thing about this team, particularly that I think Indiana fans appreciate and like, is that we're a likable bunch. Like, I love watching IU basketball when I like the guys on the team. And this band is kind of a cast of characters, right? But they're all kind of likable in a different way.
Yeah.
Fernando kind of has his dork nerd role. Coach Cignetti, of course, has his coach of all coaches role. Charlie Becker, saying some of the things he said, or Surratt, breaking the O in the game at Autzen. There's just so much character and so much to like about this team. And part of it's the togetherness, right?
Sure.
But there's so much here that I think that's a great, great story, whatever happens. And so Indiana fans have to love that. And I think that's something that's special and unique to the Indiana fan base, that it's not just that we want to win, but we also love the great story that goes with it.
Right. And every team that has a successful season Their fans love that team, but it isn't just Indiana fans that are loving this team. It is people across the country who are loving
Sure.
the way they react when Carter gets or I'm sorry, Coogan gets the offensive MVP in the Rose Bowl, and you see
Yep.
everybody jumping around and all happy for him. Mendoza, like you said, people who don't pay attention to football have learned who he is, and just talk about he's a lovable nerd, that kind of stuff. And it's just when you're that good, it's it's a lot of fun. And I think it is a big thing for a lot of people who get tired of watching the same teams compete for a national championship year over year over year. Indiana and the story is really a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely. So, Ken, let me ask you this: Are you is Peegs footing the bill for you to spend $4,000 on a ticket to go to the national championship game?
No, no, no. And you know
Is
what?
it a watch from home scenario?
Yeah, it will be a watch from home, or at least watch from the area scenario. I wasn't able to get a setup in enough time to go ahead and have this one remote, but I'm going to try like hell to get one next week for the national championship game. It's somewhere here locally. The key for it is uh, the first Oregon game, Indiana's biggest win in a long time at then the first one. And I wasn't able to do the call in right after the game because I had a prior commitment that had been there for well before I had the chance to do this. And so then it was the opportunity to do it the next morning, and there were problems. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to save it. So I want the stability. I want to be able to bring the show to you guys.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that effort. But I'm telling you right now, I will spend my life savings to go down there.
I have covered
I
a
am a
lot of
Colts
football
fan.
games. I've covered a lot of
I think
football games. So if I go without, I'm okay with it.
I think you're a Bears fan, right, Ken?
Yes, sir.
So I'm a Colts fan, and I can remember the first Colts Super Bowl in Miami. They played the Bears. You might
Mm-hmm.
remember because we beat you.
Right.
And it rained all day and all night, and it was just a ridiculous weather for Miami. And I wanted to go, and I kicked myself for not going. And here's my next point to this. A lot of us long pining IU fans, particularly on the basketball side, have longed for a national championship for a long, long time.
Yep.
And I think this is the best. I'm 40 years old, and I think this is the best chance I have of potentially seeing an Indiana University national championship in a revenue sport in my lifetime again. What do you think to that state? It's a big statement. It's a hot take.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, going forward what it is, but it's the latest opportunity. And for, look, Indiana football is the first team to go to a title game or for one of marquee sports since 2002. So it's been 23 years since we've had a football or basketball national championship game. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and given the college basketball landscape and where this team and that basketball program has been, yeah, it's you got to take the opportunities when they come. I'll put it that way.
I think so. I regret not going to that Super Bowl, and I think I've got to make this one happen, Ken.
And good luck to you, and be ready to pay.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Okay, I've saved up for a long time for this one, Ken, for something. Okay, last thing. I'll wrap up. I'll let you get on to the next caller. I'm sure
Okay.
other people are calling in as the celebration's going. I'm going to end where we started. Booze. Ken,
Yeah.
you didn't drink at halftime.
Right.
After the game, may I make a small suggestion here?
Sure.
The game took place in Atlanta. I think you have a couple options. I think you can go Hennessy. I think you can go Southern Comfort.
Okay.
Or in honor of the game, I think you can go Crown Royal Peach. Do any of those exist in your liquor cabinet tonight, Ken?
No, I'm a bourbon guy. Bourbon and some rum because my wife likes the bourbon, and I can't drink tonight anyway because I have to be up at Assembly Hall at 10 a.m. So can't do that. But I do.
Hair of the dog, Ken. Hair of the dog.
I have the ability to go out to the Big Reds tomorrow and grab something. So.
Okay. Well, I think there has to be a celebratory toast somewhere here for you, Ken.
I promise you there will be.
All right. You keep up the good work. Thanks for the show. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.
812-393-2600 is the number. We're going to get to our next caller. Caller, if I have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Ken, it's Russ from Reno. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Last week I told you I'd call in after the Hoosiers won, and I'm missing the the Fernando Mendoza interview with SVP here, but I told you I'd call in. So.
Well, that's what the DVRs are for. So.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
No, what a game by the Hoosiers tonight, man. It was so impressive.
It really was. And again, the defense didn't play its best game, but it didn't, it forced enough mistakes that it took a lot of pressure off to where they were able to relax. And, Sig, I'm sure will be on them about that. But, it's nice to be able to do one of these games and not be on pins and needles the entire time. And this is the second straight one that we've had that. So it's incredible.
Yeah, it's really incredible. I feel like the defense played, incredible tonight. All things considering, Oregon has a bunch of 5-star athletes, NFL players across the fields. And I know they were depleted at running back, but those tight ends, those receivers, their line, they're all, highly paid, big time college players. We destroyed them. We made them look like, a mediocre Big Ten team. Again, it's like we're the Alabama of the Nick Saban era.
Right.
We're bigger, stronger, faster, and better coached at every position. I never thought I would see this.
Well, it's the 8 of 13 on third down that I pay attention to. It's the giving up 19 first downs. It's given up 285 yards passing, which, I mean, he had to throw the ball 39 times to get there. But still, those are the things that I look at that are defensive stats and that they allowed some long drives that I'm sure that they would really like back. But hey, you know what? When you're cruising like that, there's 7 chunk plays in the passing game. Those are pass completions for 15 plus yards, 7 of them. And so those are those little things that I'm sure Sig is going to be paying attention to because he doesn't like that kind of stuff, regardless of what the final score is.
Yeah, I hear you, and I imagine they'll have a rough practice, when they get back in, and he'll have their butts on fire, for the Miami game. But as a fan right now, it's just cloud nine. The one thing that I am just so impressed by, and it started during the Allen era, but Bostad has to be the best offensive line coach in the country. I don't know how he's not getting an NFL offer at this point.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing too: when you get to this level of success, yeah, that NFL offer might be good, might be interesting, but at some point you also have to think with Sig tied up long term. Brian Haynes tied up long term, Mike Shanahan tied up long term. There is a lot of stability with this staff. And they've proven that what they do obviously works. So the grass isn't always greener. And IU has certainly made a commitment to paying him as well. So, to me, that is something that can't be overlooked. The grass isn't always greener. And plus, sometimes maybe you like working with college kids and not pro kids.
Yeah, that's 100% true. I'm just so impressed by him.
Sure.
If I was an AD, I would try to bring him in as my head coach.
He's been
maybe
great.
Maybe it's the old offensive lineman in me from Pee Wee football, but that guy, the way the the offensive line operates week in, week out, guys subbing in, it's incredible. Now, I'll just leave on this, and it's on a lighter note. The only complaint that I have, and maybe it's because, I had some music school friends back in the day, but man, the way we sing the fight song on national TV is terrible.
I don't disagree with that. I don't do as an
IU alum. The players have sped it up for some reason, way too fast with their clapping, and then the fans are on delay because it's such a big stadium. Man, it's like, if I was a Jacobs School student, I would be really. I don't know if they watch the football too much, but I'll be pretty embarrassed.
I completely agree. I'm not wild about it either.
All right, thanks for everything you do. Have a great night.
Thank you. 812-393-2600 is the number. The callers are starting to stack up. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, KB, it's Larry from the Fort. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Ready to go watch Indiana play for a national championship?
Unbelievable. Let me start it off with a poem, buddy.
Hit me.
Crimson crimson thunder rolled through Atlanta's night as IU rose fearless and fast, breaking Oregon's green tide with every snap and every pass. The Peach Bowl glowed while Hoosier hearts refused to bend. Scarlet resolve carving daylight where doubt was meant to end. Helmets rang like church bells, each echo a statement made clear. This was more than a game. It was belief drawing near. As IU stood victorious, history sealed and sworn, a Peach Bowl triumphant, Hoosiers proven, Hoosiers reborn.
You know, what I like about this is the length of it. You had time to work on it. You had time to figure it all out. Hell, you had all of halftime.
I had time.
That's the beauty of it.
The second half, I had a lot of time, baby. That was unbelievable.
That was a long-ass game, too. That was a really long game. That was something that just went on and went on, and especially the second half really took a long time. But you know what? If you got to wait for a long time for the final gun when you win 56-22 in the college football semifinals, you go ahead and, good things come to those who wait.
Absolutely. Did you have any concern with some of the starters being in as long as they were? That game was over. I was worried about a cheap shot. I was worried about an injury going forward. Did you have any concern about that?
Oh, for sure. And especially when you see like Kamara down in the end zone, or you see, Becker, kind of hobbling off a little bit. Yeah, for sure. By that same token, the coaches will tell you guys could get hurt slipping in the shower. So let's go out there and play. But yeah, I agree. I also think Sig wanted to make a point at the end and kept his starters in because of some of the non-calls that were happening. And so he's like, all right, fine. We'll just continue to keep our foot on the gas. And so, yeah, there were concerns for sure. That said, Indiana was able to escape pretty well. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a wonderful win. It's a fairy tale ride. I think Joey from Huntington made reference to a movie, which, I think would be a bestseller for sure. I would like to, if you would start a GoFundMe, I would contribute to help get you down there, man. You do so much for IU Nation. If you do, I don't know how that works. I'm not smart enough to do that. I'm an old man. But if you start it, put it out on Twitter, and let's see if we can get you down there, brother.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I appreciate that, but I'm not worried about that. Like I said, I have covered plenty of games. I've done Super Bowls. I've done NBA Finals and NCAA tournament and bowl games, and I've done all of that. So I'm not concerned with any of this. I haven't even tried to go to the Rose Bowl or the Peach Bowl. I want to be sure that I'm able to bring this show to people and, let Rabbi and Jared and all those guys go ahead and handle the business down there. I'm perfectly fine with that. So I appreciate that, but it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Hey, Andershock, you think Trevor will be down there?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the plan is. I know Jared's there. Yeah. I know Matt's there. I know Rabbi's there. And, now they get to continue to work, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yep. And then we got hoops tomorrow.
We got hoops. And again, I'm the last man standing along with Trevor to go ahead and cover Nebraska tomorrow. So, everybody's got their role to play. And I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then watch a little Purdue basketball after that, huh?
No, I'll do the show and then I'll come home and prepare for the Bears-Packers.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, so
fair.
I'm
all right, man.
My Bears shirt now.
Well, I will be watching the Hoosiers, and then I don't know if you're having a call in again tomorrow or
yes,
not.
Sir.
But we'll...
Yes, absolutely.
All right, buddy. Hey, man, you're the best.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for everything.
Take care.
Later, buddy. Bye.
812-393-2600 is the number. That's very nice of him to say, hey, you know what, I would do that. So got our next caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, this is Adrian from Nashville. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Well, I mean, I don't really necessarily know if I can do any better. If you want to know the truth, Ken, I mean, I'm I'm here in I'm from Nashville, but I travel for work, and unfortunately, I had to come to Dallas for about 8 days, so I'm in Dallas.
Okay.
And so I wanted to go to the local alumni chapter watch party, but I mean, it was 5 hours before the game started. It was so crowded, I couldn't even couldn't even fathom it, which is awesome.
Sure.
So I ended up watching in my hotel room, and what's funny is the D'Angelo Pons interception was in my hotel room. I went to a bar, came back to the hotel room. I got a call from the front desk to ask him very politely to be quiet because there was I had a lot of noise going on, and then the fumble recovery from Dante Moore what actually sent a security person to my door. So I had two security people come to my door 2 times, and then they were really nice. They gave me, it was my last opportunity. So my wife told me I just need to do some push-ups to get rid of my anxiety. So that's how excited I was. I would tell you, Ken, I don't even know what to say. I have been so like I told my wife, I said if it ended, it would be very disappointing, but still proud of the team. But there has to be a point in time, and I do want to say, I do want to mention Daniel Ndukwe because in Ndukwe, and if I've got his name right, Daniel Ndukwe, number 17, because here's the thing. They had Kellen Wyatt go down. Who steps up? Stephen Daly. Now, I'm not saying Ndukwe is Stephen Daly because Stephen Daly was great, but we're talking about a semifinal game, and Daniel Ndukwe comes in this game and has a real impact on the game
as a sophomore.
And as a sophomore, and I don't think that can be understated enough or overstated enough. The fact that a guy who really was just a rotational player, at the beginning, at best at the beginning of the season. I don't even know if he even got hardly any snaps when Kellen Wyatt and Stephen Daly. But anyway, and also the fact that when do we have to start talking about the fact that this team, I know on sports, I'm watching on ESPN, they talked about comparing the 2019 LSU team. But, I mean, we're big IU fans, but when do we start talking about them about being one of the best college football teams in the last several years?
Well, you mentioned that, and I had mentioned that earlier in the show. If they win, the national championship, Jesus Christ, that's a word that I just said. If they win the national championship and they, have this kind of performance, then you really do have to start talking about, is this the best team of all time? Because they are just absolutely dominating team after team after team. And I mean, they've been doing this all year. This isn't a team that got hot and went on a run. They're doing this week after week after week, and it's incredible. Incredible.
Well, and I'm watching now Scott Manpelt and Greg McElroy's on, and they're having at the bottom of the screen is a plus 69 point differential in the first two CFP games. That's kind of ridiculous.
For sure.
I mean, it's just, and and this is the first time I was nervous coming into this game because it was the first time that I felt like that IU had another team had a chip on their shoulder because they were the only team that IU had, they were their only loss was IU. Everybody was picking IU. Everybody's high on IU. And I'm like, man, this is going to be the time where, and it's just, I just don't even know what to question this team anymore. I don't know if you can question and I think moving forward, IU is going to be in a position where they're not going away, moving forward. But I believe that and I want your opinion, Ken. This team, to me, is just a special team. They may not win another national championship in the next, but this team is really special. Do you believe that?
Oh, for sure. And it's because of the fact that they are guys that came, especially the guys that this is their second year here. They came here on faith. And they, even the guys that transferred in this year, they came here on the faith that it wasn't a fluke. And they were willing to go ahead and come to Indiana, a team that historically has not had a ton of success. And they said, we're willing to believe in what Sig and his coaching staff are doing. And, there's so many firsts with this. the first bowl win in 30 plus years. You're talking about the first Heisman Trophy winner, the first Big Ten championship, the first trip to the national championship game. All of that, they're all just firsts, and so it's going to be special. And like a previous caller said, they're all really likable too, and that is absolutely, I completely agree. It takes a special person to come when success hasn't already been established year over year over year.
Well, and I know I've told you this before too, but I just really appreciate you doing this. I'm a almost 51-year-old guy, and I think we're close to the same age. And I remember those days of call-in shows, and sometimes it's not the same as it used to be, but I enjoy the fact that you put the effort into doing this, and actually, it's very rare that I would call in because I cycle a lot, I bike, I work out, so I like to listen to podcasts after the fact.
Appreciate it.
And don't like to hear my own voice, quite frankly. So, but just the fact that I'll have an hour of your show, I'll have some with Galen Clavio,
Sure.
I just the amount of coverage around IU football is, and for guys like you who've been in it. Guys like Galen Clavio, guys, my dad who's 75-year-old who's been an Indiana fan. This, to me, it's for the guys who stuck around, post Mallory years. I mean, in the '90s, Cam Cameron and these are the people that had season tickets for 30 years who just dealt with it. And so, to me, this is for them as much as it is for everybody. But it's for those guys who, had to watch blowouts against Wisconsin.
Right.
And get beaten by Purdue, which sucks. And so, but I just appreciate you, Ken, and I'm gonna let you go and let somebody else on. But thank you so much. And hey, well, I'll be listening for Nebraska tomorrow, sir. Thank you so much.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. That's nice. 812-393-2600 is the number. Get to our next caller. Caller, you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken. This is Gary from New York.
Hi, Gary. How are you doing?
Good. I got to tell you, I just got home from watching at a bar with my friends, and I didn't know what to do, and I've never called before, and I figured I'd call to celebrate with somebody.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's what my thing is. I'll stay on the air for as long as we want to, baby. I don't have to worry about getting to the top of the hour or doing all the normal radio stuff that I had done when I was previously doing it. I'm in my home studio, so let's go ahead and roll.
Yeah, something interesting was asked to me while we're, in the fourth quarter. We're already, curb stomping these guys. And I went to school. I graduated in 2002, so I was there during the Final Four. Obviously, never saw any real positive football stuff just beyond the Randall L years. And they asked me what's your best Indiana experiences of your life and in the history of Indiana? And basically what I said was Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, Big Ten Championship. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really been these last 3 weeks. Or last 3 games. It's been incredible.
Yeah, and I say that I talk about this all the time. That last year I felt that it was as good as it was ever going to get, and I still feel that way because of the fact that it was so unexpected. They beat Washington, and it was just house money the rest of the way. They lost to Notre Dame. Yeah, it was disappointing, but you didn't expect any of that to begin with. Obviously, this continues to build into incredible things, but this season, that's why the previous caller was talking about this being a special team. There are so many firsts here that, I mean, it just does make it special, and you could tell that by the crowd in the stadium as well. That Indiana fans were all in on getting there because they'd been waiting so long for this.
Oh, I mean, look, I think I've been saying for as long as I can remember that if Indiana ever did get good at football, right, it's just awakening a sleeping giant. And, Coach Sig has proven that point. I mean, look at the turnout, look at how the sellouts, look at how the viewership numbers of all the games. I mean, IU has been so thirsty for this, and now the fans are showing up, and it's been incredible.
I've always said on this call, not necessarily this call-in show, but the one that we did on the IU Radio Network, was that Indiana fans were desperate to have a good football team, to cheer for a good football team. They didn't come out to the game, but they desperately wanted this to be good. Nobody expected it to be this good, but certainly the past 2 years have shown what it is that they could be. And one of the things that I really enjoy is Indiana has had the season they had last year. And then they were like, well, maybe if you go 8-4 this year and all of that. And it's just continued to roll. And so now we get to next year when the first home game comes around and, the place is going to be a sellout. And now it's a thing. Now it's a culture. Now it's rolling. And this is a beautiful part of it.
Yeah. To that point, I finally got around to yesterday and today to listening to the most recent Hoosier Hysterics podcast when they had, God, the name's escaping me, but the director of Hoosiers.
Oh, yeah, Angelo Pizzo.
Yeah, Pizzo. And he was talking about how he interviewed Fisher a couple times in the preseason, and he was trying to push the point of wasn't last year so great? And I'm paraphrasing, but basically Aiden Fisher was basically said last year was not a successful season because we lost.
Right.
And it's like that attitude, that chip on the shoulder it's just unfathomable to me that these young men are so mature and have so much of an edge. It just comes out on the field. They're just angry when they play, it looks like.
Well, and that has to do everything with SIG and just setting that standard.
Yeah.
And the standard is the standard, and the standard is we win the last game of the season. And think about how hungry SIG is as a head coach. Yeah, he wins, Google him, and all of that, but he has not yet won a national championship, and he has played for him before. He's been in multiple semifinals at lower levels, but he wants the national championship. So if you think he's not hungry, if you think that he's going to let off the gas, and not even a little bit, it is unbelievable.
Yeah, and it certainly trickles down to his guys.
Sure.
But I'll check out because we'll give some other calls a chance. But appreciate your show. I'm thrilled that I finally had the opportunity to call in, and go Hoosiers has been great.
Thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
812-393-2600. We got another caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
It's Fred from Fort Branch.
Fred from Fort Branch. How you doing?
Good. Does IU cover 7.5?
No, I'm not a good gambler, but yeah, I think so. I think they will. Because I saw that the early line on the Miami game is 7.5, and I mean, given the way that they have just hammered every team out there, save for the couple of games, Ohio State, Iowa was a 5-point game. Penn State, obviously, a 3-point game. Otherwise, everything else, Indiana has handled relatively easily. Given what I've seen from Miami and the fact that Miami makes a lot of mistakes and isn't necessarily the most disciplined team, yeah, that's where I'm at. I do think they do cover.
Gibson County don't like the Canes.
Well, that's... I guess that's going to be most IU fans here for the next, what is it? It's Friday, so the next 9 days or whatever it is.
God bless. Have a good rest of your night.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. 812-393-2600 is the number. Love all the calls. Lines are open. Jason in the chat says 2016 was special seeing the Cubs win. I think you meant 2005 when the White Sox won, but go ahead. But I never thought I'd see IU win ever in football. This is so much exciting. Timbo Slice says the kings of college football. Russell Baxter said, I thought it would be close, and I hoped IU would win, but I did not think this was going to happen. Wow. Oregon Metrics is top 3 in this, and what did this team do for it? I'm at a loss for words. And I said it on the podcast yesterday, or the one that went live this morning, and some of the people around me, some of my friends Sarah and Ian, and Jessica, I was telling them I was uncomfortable with this game, but the reason I was uncomfortable was because I felt Indiana was going to win. And it has taken me 27 games to get to a point where I'm like, I don't know, big game. I think Indiana's going to do this. And the Hoosiers certainly heard all the chatter about how tough it is to win, to beat a team twice in 1 year. Well, hell, the NFL players do it. Teams do it all the time. And yeah, it's a challenge, but all the discussion about Oregon is this, that, and the other, I knew it wouldn't be a problem motivating this IU football team, which does not come out flat ever. They come ready to play, and you could bet they'll come ready to play in the national championship game as well next week. Should be incredibly fun. I saw somebody on Twitter. They just mentioned something like, "I wish my grandfather could have seen it." Was here to see it, and that is, again, I think that we had this after the Ohio State game. That same thing of plenty of people calling in talking about watching games with their dad and can't believe that there is this. I know my father, Norman, would be beside himself. Here, my Uncle Dave would be beside himself with excitement. And it also brings, a lot of people that you know out of the woodwork to it. I have a friend of mine that I haven't spoken to in years and years, Wendy, who messaged me about maybe 5:30 today, just saying, "Hey, going to be, I haven't watched a football game since I was in marching band in high school, but I'm going to make sure to see this." And that is what all of this is just has become this alumni base wide, just gathering of people and excitement. And even people that don't pay attention to football are now paying attention to Indiana football. And, basketball has always been the touchstone. And I'm excited for the crowd at Assembly Hall at noon, because here you have undefeated Nebraska coming to play IU. People are going to be riding the buzz from tonight at Assembly Hall. People are going to be wanting to celebrate the football team, and obviously they're going to show a thing about season tickets and all of that, and it's going to get the biggest cheer of the day, and it's going to be energize the basketball team as well. And that's kind of the power of all this. That's kind of the power of all this. I also mentioned this on Twitter, and I think that just about everybody else did, is the no call on the DPI in the fourth quarter. I know immediately my hands went up, and I may have said some non-radio friendly words. Not that this is radio, I could say it, but I'm trying to keep it clean enough. And I tweeted that I love that Sig, they cut to him, and he was hands up, WTF. And even though Indiana was already big up, that was, just part of, he never lets off the gas, nor should he. It's just really, really exciting to see. And the Hoosiers could not have possibly put together a better performance than they did here, save for, like I said, the defense I felt was a little more generous than we've seen them at times. And so that is going to be something that I know that Hoosier fans are going to be, and Kurt Signetti in particular, is going to be, focused on with this. 812-393-2600 is the number. Seth on the chat said Fred sounded a little young to be gambling. Hey, I don't know how old Fred is. I've met people with some voices, so, and it is what it is. What I'm excited for is how this town is going to be, Bloomington is going to be, over the next week until the national championship game, and during that national championship game. It's going to be really it's going to suck the oxygen out of the room, and it's great. It's great. I've already noticed that actually for the basketball call-in show. I did one after the Maryland game the other day, and there just wasn't nearly the volume of calls and everything like that, because people's attention is on football. Novelty of it. They feel a connection to this team that I don't feel that they're connected to the basketball team quite as much. And this one, meanwhile, is making all their dreams come true, this football team. 56-22 in the Peach Bowl is jaw-dropping. And again, Indiana fans turned Atlanta into national reporters were saying, I'm covering the game from Bloomington, Georgia today, because that's how it is. 812-393-2600. I mean, when you look at Miami, the next opponent, and, kind of their road to getting to the national championship game, and obviously Peegs.com and all of us will have all the coverage leading up to the game when they strap in on Monday. Let's see, what's the date going to be that day? January 19th. Miami's 13-2. Good quarterback with Carson Beck. But Miami at 13-2, 10 seed here. They've had their challenges along the way. They beat Ohio State. They beat Ole Miss. Beat Texas A&M. So they've knocked off some teams along the way in some tight games. They also have a win over Notre Dame earlier this year, win over Florida State, win over a ranked Pitt team. So all of these games are tough. But for the most part, they've been mostly competitive games. Indiana, meanwhile, is Indiana, and what you need if you are if you're playing Indiana, you can't make mistakes because Indiana ain't going to make them for you. And so that's where the Hurricanes are going to have to come ready to play in what will be a home game. It's their home stadium. And I've already seen some people complain about that, but hey, that's just luck of the draw. They earned their spot there. You got to hold the game somewhere. And so that's a great place to do it. Everybody loves championship games, whether it's a Super Bowl or the national championship game in Miami. You got to earn your way there. And they've done just that. And despite being a 10 seed and there being an argument about whether or not they belonged, they were able to get there. And so Indiana's going to have to play a very good game to win. But Indiana hasn't really played a bad game yet, save for, the Penn State game where Penn State was a little bit fired up at home and still lost the game. And Indiana played that game without Elijah Surratt. And so, that defense is still that defense. And the other thing is, what I love about this IU team is how they just keep their foot on the gas. A blocked punt when you're already, beating the hell out of a team and you just want to absolutely demoralize them all the more, and then you have a blocked punt that turns into a quick score. I love that attitude. I love the way Indiana goes about their business. Seth says on the chat, we're more connected to this team. Like Joey said, people love stories. This group is easy to want to follow. I think IU basketball is more likable than years past, but fans don't have the connection yet. I agree with that. I do. When you have a full roster of players who this is their first year and a new head coach, you haven't had a chance to connect with the team yet and get to know them and get to learn them. We've only seen them play for, 15 games? So it takes time. This one, there were players, for football, there were players that played last year that brought you success and you were able to get behind. And and plus just the sheer success gives you a lot of connection. But I think that it's really absolutely incredible. Got another caller? Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, you got a bunch of IU fans down here in Atlanta. We just saw an amazing football game.
Yeah, it's Sheila Depot. I've been a subscriber since 2008.
That sounds great. That's great. What did you guys think of the game?
Hey, what?
We want to know. What the biggest advantage IU has over Miami heading into this game.
Discipline. I think discipline. Indiana doesn't make mistakes and isn't going to have those mental errors that that Miami doesn't suffer from, but could have along the way. And so that is, to me, that is going to be the biggest thing.
Fuck yeah, I agree. We're talking to Pigs.
Wait, did you wait?
Oh, he's on the phone right now.
Wait, long time subscriber, first time caller.
Fantastic. I love it.
Where's Rap Johns?
Rap Johns is down in Atlanta with you guys.
Is this Jeff Rap Johns?
No, this is Ken Bykoff, but Jeff Rap Johns is covering the game right now.
Where's Rabby?
He's covering the game.
Oh, beautiful. I want to talk to him.
Well, he's not here right now. He's at the stadium.
All right. What do
right.
you like? What do you like? IU advantage in Miami. Give us the rundown.
The rundown is that Indiana is more disciplined. That has just a better overall hunger and everything that goes along with it, and just has a whole season of confidence of beating the hell out of people. And I like Indiana in that game.
How do you think our offensive line holds up against Mesidor and Bain?
I think they will hold up just fine because in Mendoza's sure to stayed clean most of the year, and this is a group again that communicates really well and has dealt with fast guys, big guys, athletic guys. I think they'll be ready.
You think you think he?
Hey, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Love it. Somebody's having fun. Got another caller. I'm having a ton of fun with you guys. Caller, favorite name, where you're from, and what you got.
This is Kent from Red Key.
Hi, Kent. How are you doing tonight?
It's a beautiful evening in Red Key, Indiana, I can tell you that much. You can come down to the Key Palace Theater. Great times. So I had a little dilemma tonight, Kent.
Okay.
I'm a high school basketball coach.
Okay.
Our game went into overtime.
Oof.
By the time I knew, so I was getting updates, and then the game tightened up a little bit. So last I had heard it was 14-7 after the game. We did win, fortunately. I hear the score's 35-7. I didn't get to watch any of it, anything significant. Now I still got to enjoy the glory of a Hoosier win and going to the national championship game, but that just kind of sucked. But then it was awesome because we're obviously going to play for a national championship.
Absolutely. That was what I was going to say is, you know what, to be able to just kind of relax and watch your team get to a title game, there's something delicious about that.
There is. There will be something delicious about this Crown Peach I'm getting ready to have too. That's for certain.
There you go.
What's the drink of choice tonight, Kent?
Well, my thing, and we had a previous caller that was talking about this Crown Royal Peach. I'm a bourbon guy, but I also have to be at Assembly Hall at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I get off of this. I'll go ahead and do a little bit more work, get to bed so I can go to Assembly Hall, cover the IU Nebraska game, and do another call-in show. So I will get to that probably Sunday after after the Bears beat the hell out of the Packers tomorrow night.
Counterpoint. You have some bourbon tonight, you wake up and have one tomorrow morning, and you just keep the party going.
Well, I could do that.
It's just an idea. That's what we would do in Red Key.
I respect. I respect.
Gotcha.
That. Yeah. So.
Gotcha. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Take care.
Yep. See ya.
812-393-2600 is the number. It is really kind of incredible how there are still, I'm just noticing this on Twitter, that there are some people that still arguing that, Indiana hasn't played a team like Miami. Then, so, this is going to be, so go ahead and start the hype and all this. And the only truly good team Indiana played is Ohio State. And, well, others have played Notre Dame and Texas A&M and Ole Miss. It's just ridiculous. I mean, come on, everybody. Come on. Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State. Those three teams, Alabama, Oregon, and Ohio State, Indiana in those 3 games, teams that have been top 10, very, very highly ranked all year, Indiana in those 3 games gave up, 35 points in 3 games to 3 teams that have infinitely more raw talent than Indiana. But what Indiana has is a hell of a plan and is a team that just does not make mistakes. That's just not what they do. And so it's really amazing. Indiana is going to be playing for a national championship in football. And they're doing it in a way that has rarely been seen in college football, with a level of just hammering team after team after team. Blue blood, fine. I had a stat earlier this week that in the past, since the start of the 2000 season, Oregon had 24 seasons of 500 or better, had played in 27 bowl games, because obviously if you play in the college football playoffs, you play multiple bowl games in a year. That's how you get more than one. Miami had a pile. Ole Miss had a pile. Indiana has had 5 seasons of 500 or better and had played in 8 bowls. And some of those seasons, 8 bowls, you go 6-6 on the year, so you qualify for a bowl and you go to the bowl game and you lose. That's not a winning season. It's a successful season. You reach your goal of getting to a bowl. But, I have for years talked to people about people who called into the call-in shows and all of that I have run. Some of them saying Indiana should shut down their football program. It's an embarrassment. They should be playing in the MAC. Just drop down to the MAC and walk away. And my thing was always just start getting to bowls. Build. You're not going to play for national championships or anything like that. That's not how it is. But you have to be, you have to at least, dream big. And then here we are, college football playoffs last year, learned lessons from it, and now you're playing for a national championship in Miami next week. It's a hell of a story. It is an absolute hell of a story. Jesus. More people on Twitter just continue, Indiana's too small for Miami. Yeah, because Alabama, they were too small for Alabama and too small for Oregon. You know what? People just don't want to learn sometimes. That's how that works. It's going to be an exciting time. Bloomington's going to be buzzing, to say the least. Indiana is going to be favored to win the national championship, even though it's going to be a Miami home game. That also, hear about it being a Miami home game. Indiana fans are going to travel. They're not going to have a problem. And when you're talking about games like this, you're talking about a group of fans that are in the stands that are not like your normal college crowd. Those championship games, yeah, you're going to have some of that crew, but you also are going to have a lot of corporate people, a lot of that kind of thing. People buying tickets and trying to. So you talk about a Miami home game. It's not as if Indiana fans don't travel and they will do all that they can. It's just unreal that Indiana is going to be in that situation, and there's still people that are going to be doubting them. And complain about, and I thought it was interesting before the game. You had Kirk Herbstreit and Nick Saban and Desmond Howard talking about how all of this obviously pointed to Indiana, but it almost seemed like too obvious. And so you have to, maybe you have to continue to try to convince yourself it's going to be an even battle. We're going to see a lot of that in the next week, I promise you. There's a reason Miami was the 10th seed in the college football playoff. Well, Indiana was the number one and still is the number one team in the country, the only undefeated team in the country who has whipped just about every opponent that has been in front of them. It's really something else. More love on the chat here for Crown Peach. That is really interesting. I'm not a big Crown Royal guy, but it's not that I don't like it. It's just I usually just turn to bourbon. So I appreciate all that. I'll have to maybe try to get a bottle just because all of you folks are suggesting it so much. Last call for calls, 812-393-2600 is the number. In those last 3 games, this is from Darren Ravel on Twitter. In the last 3 games, Indiana has beaten Ohio State, Alabama, and Oregon by a combined score of 107-36. His math is wrong. Ohio State scored 10, Alabama scored 3, and Oregon had 22. That is 35 points, 107-35. It's a special time, folks. And Indiana is going to be playing for a national championship. I will be obviously doing the call-in show after the game. We have the Peegs podcast that runs during the week. Be sure to visit Peegs.com for all the coverage from Miami and leading up to the game. And tomorrow, noon tip-off at Assembly Hall, noon Eastern. The undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers are in town to take on Indiana. Call-in show after that game as well. And should be an electric atmosphere at Assembly Hall because people in town who are going to this game are going to be really just obviously juiced from what we've seen to this point. And it's going to be a ton of fun. So much opportunity for Indiana. And boy, we could dream of this kind of performance from Indiana in a national championship game. It's going to be a tough one. Every game is a tough one. Every team has an opportunity to win, but Indiana is going to be imminently prepared for what Miami has in store. And there seems to be no team in the country that's better at breaking down weaknesses and staying dedicated to their game plan and avoiding mistakes than Indiana, which is how we find ourselves in this position with this opportunity to complete the biggest turnaround in certainly college football history and arguably college sports history when you're talking about the time and the level of success. Curt Cignetti has won more games in his first 2 years at a college program than any coach in college football history. History made, not just Hoosier history, but college football history is being made week in, week out by the Hoosiers. And it's a ton of fun to see. Again, appreciate all the calls, all the guy, everybody on the chat. Says they can doubt us all they want. Our team won't hear that noise. They won't. They'll feed off of it. You're right about that, Troika. That's exactly the case. And they're just going to keep rolling. Ton of fun, ton of excitement. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. 56-22 is your final score. I will do one last thing here before we come off the air. See if possibly, I don't know exactly what the rules are. This because obviously it is a lot different than a normal game. But when it comes to post-game press conferences and things like that, it is a very, very different situation than it would be for a normal game. So I'm seeing if there's any chance. No, there's probably not. It can't be. I'd be really surprised if that was anything that would be possible to get, because it's just a lot different. So we're not going to worry about Sig's press conference right now. It will be wherever it is. I haven't seen anything pop up with it. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Looking forward to it. 56-22 is the final. Enjoy this for the next couple of days. Get excited for one more time that you get to see this Hoosier football team in action, and it's for everything. It's the national championship beyond anything that you ever dreamed of. And here we are. Wait. I'm going to hold on because we got one more caller, and especially from the 219. I'm talking to you for sure. Caller, what's your name, where you're from, and what you got?
It's going to be a ton of fun.
Caller, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, you're on the air. What can I help you with?
I just watched that IU football game. I'm in Whistler right now with some of my friends, and I just want to say that it's pretty much the best football game I've ever watched, and it changed my life, won me a bunch of money, and I've just never been more happy.
How did it change your life?
It won me a bunch of money.
Oh, well, there you go.
Paid for my table at the club.
That's fantastic. Is that all you got?
That's pretty much it. I mean, I love Fernando Mendoza. I think that his draft stock is underrated, if anything. And I think we've got a lot of first rounders here.
Yeah, to
what do
me,
you think?
he's such an incredible talent. I completely agree with that.
I mean, that pretty much covers all my bases.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Got another caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Waylon from Evansville.
Hi, Waylon. How you doing tonight? Tonight, I guess, here on the early Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, I'm down in the southern part of the state. Called in a few times. Been up to a lot of IU games this year, so I still got another 30 minutes till midnight. But
yeah, you guys are central. That's right.
Yes, sir. But man, I mean, what more can you say about these Hoosiers? I mean, the absolute dismantle of Oregon tonight, and it wasn't just on one play I mean, we were jumping out of our seats here at the house. We had about 20 people over watching the game. On that second play of the game, opening pick on, I mean, I called game then, but wow.
Well,
I mean,
and then they give up the long drive that allows them to tie the game, but the Hoosiers just responded. Go ahead.
That's the biggest thing about this team this year is it's like, you know, there's times I'm watching the Indiana or Old Dominion game. We give up that big breakaway run by the quarterback, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then it happens again in the second half, and it's like, all right, you know, we gave up 2 plays, and that's it.
Right.
You know, and then just watching them throughout the year, it's like, yeah, we gave up some big plays, we gave up some touchdowns, but man, I don't think I've ever seen a more dominant defense or much more dominant defense than I've seen all year from IU. It's just been incredible to watch.
Yeah, it has been. And you know, when Indiana scored its 3rd touchdown, get them to 21 points, only one team had scored more than 21 points, more than 20 points this season, and that was Penn State. They scored 24. Obviously, Oregon scores 22, but it was like a garbage time touchdown. So when you get to that point, you see Indiana scores 3 touchdowns. They're in great shape. And I think that is kind of what you're going to be dealing with Miami is if they make mistakes, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And Indiana makes you make mistakes.
Exactly. I mean, they force you into it. That's the thing that I don't think a lot of people from the national media understand, or maybe they're starting to understand that. But, like, Indiana is forcing teams into mistakes. Like, they're forcing them to come out of character. Oregon is a damn good team. Dan Lanning is one of the top coaches in the country. And I understand that losing coordinators and losing some personnel, that hurts. But at the same time, they forced Dante Moore, who's about to go out in the draft and be a top 5 pick, into a lot of mistakes. I mean, golly.
Well,
It's just amazing. What a day! What a day to be a Hoosier fan.
Well, like I said, Oregon this year has allowed 17 sacks on the season, and 9 of them came from IU. That's your difference. That's a huge stat because more than half of the sacks Oregon gave up this year happened in their 2 games against Indiana, because that's how different Indiana is versus other teams that they played.
Exactly. I saw something post game. It said Dante Moore had 5 turnovers against Indiana. He had 13 or 7 in the rest of the 13 games.
Yep.
Like that's ridiculous. I mean, that's just complete defensive domination. It was so amazing to watch. And my grandpa called me at halftime. He was like, "I hope we hang another 30 on him."
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But
for sure.
like
And again, I mentioned this earlier in the show, but the stat of Indiana has played nearly 1,000 plays now since they last lost a fumble. There is certainly some luck involved in that, but that is also a situation where you don't put the ball on the ground very often. And those little things make a huge difference, especially when the pressure is turned up.
Exactly. And like when Fernando turned the ball over, one of my buddies texted me, he was like, "Man, that was really close." And I said, "You know what? It's just how you know you're living right."
Yeah.
You're fundamentally right. You're doing things right. And the ball bounces the right way.
Yep,
but hey,
sure.
Ken, I really appreciate your call or taking my call, and you have a great night. Go Hoosiers.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Another natty in the books for Indiana, baby.
Hope so. Take care.
Yes, sir. See ya.
God, I love all these calls. Late on a night. It's 12:30 Eastern here now as we get here. So I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right there with that as that call came in. Got squeezed in a couple of extra calls, and it's always thrilled to hear from everybody. 56-22 is your final from Atlanta. Next game, Miami. They play the Miami Hurricanes for the national championship. Goodness gracious. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs Postgame Live. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time, but for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.